Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, usually I'd be at work right now, but I switched schedules. I don't have to go until a little later. And that later would be about, I gotta leave this house in about 2 hours, 14 minutes. Let's put it that way. Anyway, as you can see here, I'm here to talk about, if not, talk about well, I'm pretty sure you know about this by now, but if you don't, I'm here to talk about basically uh, discuss, or kind of tell you who the nominees in the Oscars this year are, which is going to be on February 28th next month, at the end of next month. Um, and I will say this though. I will say this. It seems that 2015 wasn't that. It was a good year for movies, but wasn't that good of a year due to the fact, and I'm not trying to play down any of these nominations. I think they're great nations and everything, and they're well deserved. It's just some of these movies just came out, so I don't know how they could get a nomination. I mean, I could understand being seen at like things like the world premieres in L.A. and elsewhere, and I can also see Sundance premiering them early and everything, and that's how they get recognition. I get all that. But I think honestly, some of these movies that come out this month should at least wait till next year. That's just my thing about this is they should wait until at least next year to release nominations for these films, because some of these films, just like I say, just came out. Again, I can understand the nomination because maybe they got seen early by the critics and all that, and the people in charge of the Oscars and all that. I get that, and maybe the Sundance Film Festivals and all that. I get that and everything, but to me, I think they should wait off on some of these that I mean, some of the movies that come out at the beginning of the year, they do have Best Picture quality. There's no doubt, but I think they should wait until at least until next year. I mean, the ones that came out last year and everything, I mean last month and all that in December, I can understand their nominations because they qualify for 2015. But movies that just came out this year are not qualified in 2015. If you know what I mean. But that's the way it goes, and unless something gets fixed or something, we're always going to end up seeing that. But I think honestly they should hold off on some of these films. Excuse me. They should hold off on some of them at least until next year. Give them a year's run, not just the theater run, but home video and then cable run, and then go with that. They used to do that, I think, back, several years, back 15 years ago, back 10, 15 years ago, maybe 5 years ago at the most, at the earliest. But I think mostly like almost a decade or so ago, they used to do that. They used to give them a run in the theaters, then they would give them a run after the run in theaters. That would obviously earn them a nomination, but like I said, 10, 15, 20 years ago, they used to wait until it did a year's run, then they nominated it. As far as I remember, but again, I think it's just something that they need to work on because it would make everything equal and kind of open the door for other nominations. But anyway, looking here, as far as Best Picture goes, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nominees. Some that we know about, some are kind of surprising. Well, here are the nominees. Here are the movies nominated for Best Picture. We have The Big Short, which I think is going to be probably a good choice. We have Bridge of Spies, which is surprising. We have Brooklyn. I haven't heard of that one before. Here's a surprising one. Mad Max Fury Road. That is unbelievable to see Mad Max Fury Road. And I've been thinking about getting that movie. I just haven't gotten to it yet, so I'll probably get it this time. Mad Max Fury Road, which continues the Mad Max franchise. The Martian, which I think we pretty much had an idea might be considered, for a nomination and got it. But here's the one that kind of sticks out to me because it just came out 8 days ago. The Reverend with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I can understand maybe, getting seen maybe weeks before in advance, like I said, the Sundance Film Festival and its world premiere, and people being, just in awe of how it was filmed and everything. Because they talk about how it was filmed and everything. That is kind of extraordinary. So, I can probably understand them doing that. I can understand them having reasoning. I can understand that being reasoning for a nomination, but still, it's like you're shutting out several other good movies of 2015 in favor of that. So, I think honestly, they should at least give it a year, give it a year's run. Next is The Room. Is Room, basically, not The Room, but Room. See. Okay, it's called Room. That's one of them. And the last nomination is Spotlight. So, again, as far as nominees, Best Picture wise, not a good year. And this is where I think a lot of people, when they look at some of these animated films that are good, they look at them and they're like, why don't you just nominate one of those in there? I mean, there's a movie that's nominated for Best Animated Picture. I'm pretty sure we all know what that is. And it would have fit well in the Best Picture category. There's no doubt in my mind. It would have fit well. But they didn't do that. But they didn't do that, so... what are you going to do? I mean, you also have Star Wars. You could have nominated that. Even Avengers: Age of Ultron, if you wanted to, you could have thrown that in there. I'm just saying. But yeah, the nominees basically for Best Picture are Best Short, a Big Short, or The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Reverend, Room, and Spotlight. So, again though, I think they need to really rework the system and kind of get more real nominees in there, if you know what I'm saying. Or give other movies a chance, even if they're animated. All right, the people they've nominated for Best Actor in a leading role are Bryan Cranston, Trumbo, Matt Damon, The Martian, Leonardo DiCaprio, The Reverend, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, and Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl. Excuse me. Yeah. Those are the nominees in Best Actor. Again, they are Bryan Cranston, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Michael Fassbender, and Eddie Redmayne. And for Trumbo, The Martian, The Reverend, Steve Jobs, and Danish Girl. The nominees that they selected for Best Actress in a leading role are Cate Blanchett for Carol, Brie Larson for Room, Jennifer Lawrence for Joy, Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years, and Saoirse, Saoirse, Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn. Those are the nominees there. And then you got the nominees for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. They chose Christian Bale, The Big Short, Tom Hardy, The Revenant. That makes 2 movies he's in that's nominated this year. Mark Ruffalo, Spotlight, Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, and Sylvester Stallone for Creed. And then the ladies that they chose for Best Actress in a Supporting Role, well, they chose Jennifer Jason Leigh for Hateful Eight, which came out at the end of last year, I believe. Or again, it's one of the movies that kind of like in between. I think it was at the beginning of this year or end of last year. I don't know. Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight. Excuse me. Rooney Mara for Carol. Rachel McAdams for Spotlight. Alicia Van Kinder for The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. Yeah. Jennifer Jason Leigh for Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara for Carol, Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, Alicia Vikander for Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. Now the best animated feature film nominees, they are Anomalisa, which obviously has got some huge acclaim here. Anomalisa, Boy and the World, Inside Out, Shaun the Sheep Movie, and When Marina Was There. Now, this is the one thing I probably get from this this category, is it's not just Best Animated Feature North American wise, it's Best Animated Feature worldwide. So basically they take all the features here in America, here that are around the world, that come from all different countries, and they put them into this category. And there's a lot of people that are not happy that the Peanuts movie did not get nominated, which is kind of a shame. But I think it's like Matt Burnett said, it was not a strong year for movies, animated films. So even though the Peanuts did good, it was one of those films that just wasn't good enough. So, but Inside Out is in there. I think, honestly, it's going to be between this Animalist and Inside Out for Best Animated Feature. The cinematography nominations that they got are the movies that are nominated for Best Cinematography. They nominated Carol, Hateful Eight, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, and Sicario. Those are the nominees for Best Cinematography. And in Best Costume Design, they nominated Carol, Cinderella, Danish Girl, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Revenant. That's Carol, Disney Cinderella, the new one, The Danish Girl, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Revenant for Best Costume Design nominations. The Best Directing nominations, in other words, Best Director, I'm pretty sure that's the category. The best nominations in directing, in other words, I think director, are The Big Short, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, Room, Spotlight. Basically, 5 of the films that are nominated for Best Picture. And that's in the directing nominations. The nominations that they got for documentary feature are Amy, the documentary based around Amy Winehouse, Cartel Land, The Look of Silence, What Happened, Miss Simone, Winter on Fire, Ukraine's Fight for Freedom. Those are the nominees that they got for documentary feature. The documentary short nominees they got were Body Team 12, Chau Beyond the Lines, Claude Lanzmann, Spectres of the Show, or Shao, A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness, and Last Day of Freedom. Those are the nominees that they selected for Best Documentary Short. The nominees that they got for Best Film Editing are Big Short, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, Spotlight, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Those are the nominees for Best Film Editing. The Best Foreign Language Film nominees are Embrace of the Serpent out of Colombia, Mustang out of France, Son of Saul out of Hungary, Hungary, Thebe out of Jordan, and A War out of Denmark. That's Embrace of a Serpent out of Colombia, Mustang out of France, Son of Saul out of Hungary, Thebe out of Jordan, A War out of Denmark. The nominees that they got, if I can get it here. The nominees that they got for Best Makeup and Hairstyling are Mad Max Fury Road, the 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared. Let me get back to the nominees here. Sorry about that. Yeah, as I try to get back here, let me just say this. Okay, I'll get back into that in a second. Hold on. Where was I? All right. Like I said, Best Makeup and Hairstyling nominees. They selected Mad Max Fury Road, the 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared, The Revenant, and that's it. Those are the 3 nominees for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. The nominees for Best Music Original Score are Bridge of Spies, Carol, The Hateful Eight, Sicario, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. And then the nominees for Best Music Original Song are Earned It from 50 Shades of Grey, Manta Ray from Racing Extinction, Simple Song No. 3 from Youth, Till It Happens to You, The Hunt from The Haunting Ground, Writings on the Wall from Spectre. And I think it's going to probably go to Writings on the Wall from Spectre. I just get this feeling. If it goes to Earned It, then I can see my mom going like, "Yep, Hollywood's gone crazy," you know. But yeah, the nominees on Best Original Song are Earned It from 50 Shades of Grey, Manta Ray from Racing Extinction, Simple Song No. 3 from Youth, Till It Happens to You from The Haunting Ground, and Writings on the Wall from Spectre. The nominees that they chose for Best Production Design are Bridge of Spies, Danish Girl, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, and The Revenant. Those are the nominees they chose for Best Production Design. The nominees they chose for Best Short Film Animated, or Best Animated Short Film, the ones they nominated were Bear Story, Prologue, Sanjay Super Team, We Can't Live Without Cosmos, which I think was one of those movies they were showing on those after-hour screenings in LA about last year or so, and World of Tomorrow. That is Bear Story, Prologue, Sanjay Super Team, We Can't Live Without Cosmos, World of Tomorrow, and World of Tomorrow. Those were the nominees they chose for Best Animated Short Film. And then the nominees they chose for Best Live Action Short Film were Ava Maria,